Hello everybody, Rusted Ground here, and welcome back to another episode of going through the Codex here in Mass Effect 2. It's been a while since we went through the Codex, so did I say codec at the beginning? I'm sorry, I meant codex if I did say codec. Yeah, so let's see what we have here, because like I said, it's been a while since we went through the Codex, and as you can see, we have a few entries in the primary section, and we also have a few in the secondary section. So let's go ahead and see what else we've added to the Codex in the planets and locations section.
Humans detected Iaea as an Earth-type world via telemetry in 2165. After probe surveys indicated life, lush vegetation, ample fresh water, and breathable air, the Alliance upgraded the planet to a garden world colonization priority. Commanded by Captain Ronald Taylor, the crew of Alliance survey vessel Hugo Gernsback made planetfall on the jungle world in 2173. Soon after, ship transmissions inexplicably stopped. While the precise fate of the Hugo Gernsback command and crew is unknown, they are presumed killed in action and their vessel destroyed.
So for those of you that don't know what Iaea is, that is actually the planet where we found Jacob's father. And this is the Codex entry for the planet. Let's see if we have anything else in here.
Freedom. A regional hub of Asari commerce awash in riches, Ilium is infamous for its abusive labor practices and legalization of nearly everything except murder. As such, Ilium is the preferred production site for weapons and pharmaceuticals that would be illegal nearly everywhere else, made even more lucrative by legal indentured servitude. Among the biotics-related pharmaceutical producers is the Dantius Corporation, a rising star in galactic commerce. Despite the dangers of its products, Ilium is renowned for glamour, luxury, and safety, provided by near-total surveillance, making it a favored tourist destination. Countless celebrities maintain palatial estates on Ilium and in its capital Nos Astra. The sole obstacle to business on Ilium is its extensive bureaucracy, tolerated only for its provision of security. Regardless of the character of its economy, Ilium's self-congratulatory media exalts its own society with the provincial arrogance of new money, glorifying in sexiest CEOs and 10 richest residents lists.
Very interesting. So Ilium is where we are at the moment, where we've recruited Thane and Samara, and where we finished basically Randa's loyalty mission. It's interesting. I'm happy to find out a little bit about the Dantius Corporation. So yeah, now we know that Thane killed its CEO, right? Yeah. Cool. Let's move on to Pragia.
Choked by the hypergrowth of non-native plant species, Pragia serves as a galactic reminder about the imperative for careful regulation during colonization. 2 centuries ago, Batarian agribusiness chose uninhabited Pragia as their empire's breadbasket. Colonization authorities introduced non-native, industrially mutated plants that flourished in the world's fertile volcanic soil. Synergizing with Pragia's natural geothermal conditions and chemotropic microbes, the imported species soon became a nightmare. Mutant strains of poisonous and even carnivorous plants arose, overgrowing colonies in days instead of years, and causing the Batarians to abandon their holdings. Because the planet's small animal population is insufficient to check its plant growth, Alliance ecologists predict soil exhaustion in 400 years. Due to its relative isolation and lack of population, Pragia has become a regional haven for drug runners, weapons smugglers, pirates, mercenaries, terrorists, and intelligence agents seeking secrecy.
Okay, so Pragia, not Pragia the way I say it. Pragia is where we did Jack's loyalty mission, and where Jack was held as a child and experimented on by the Cerberus organization. Cool. Rakana
The Drell homeworld of Rakana once teemed with life, its arid plains home to spectacular insect and reptile analogs. But the Drell took to industrialization early and did not realize the extent of the environmental damage they caused until it was too late. With their topsoil depleted and oceans too acidic to sustain life, the Drell were situated for a massive population crash by 2025 CE. It was then the Hanar stepped in, mounting a large-scale rescue operation to bring Drell to the Hanar homeworld, Kajay. As wars erupted over what resources remained on Rakana and billions began to die, approximately 375,000 Drell escaped in the Exodus. To repay their debt, the Drell entered into an agreement with the Hanar. Called the Compact, it states that the Drell would assist the Hanar with tasks the Hanar cannot physically perform. Today, high-ranking Hanar are frequently inseparable from their Drell attendants.
Cool. This is something that maybe we unlocked when we spoke to Thane after we recruited him. Interesting. It's very cool, and I think Glenn said the same thing Glenn said the same thing in one of his comments on the video. He told us about the history of the Drell a little bit. So happy to see it here in the Codex. Okay, let's move on to ships and vehicles and see what we have here.
Cyclonic barrier technology, CBT, attempts to solve the higher-end limitations of traditional kinetic barriers. Traditional barriers cannot block high-level kinetic energy such as disruptor torpedoes because torpedo mass effect fields add mass. The CBT violently slaps aside rather than halting incoming linear force. By rotationally firing their mass effect field projectors, ships create rapidly oscillating kinetic barriers instead of static ones. Shooting through the CBT is like trying to shoot at a target inside a spinning ball. Significant drawbacks to current CBT configuration prevent its use on anything other than frigates and fighters. Its many high-frequency sensors and emitters require frequent maintenance and replacement. A partially damaged CBT can endanger its operator, who is surrounded by rotating mass effect fields skewing in unpredictable directions. However, if an emitter is damaged, the CBT becomes a traditional shield array, making it effective during opening volleys.
Cool. Very cool. Let's move on to another weapon upgrade, the Thanix Magnetic...
Following the Battle of the Citadel, human and Turian volunteers conducted a massive 3-month recovery effort to clear the station's orbit of debris. Secretly, the Turian Office of Technological Reconnaissance volunteers were technology recovery specialists, salvaging the main weapon of the Geth flagship Sovereign and large amounts of its valuable Element Zero core. Contrary to popular belief, Sovereign's main gun was not a directed energy weapon. Rather, its massive Element Zero core powered an electromagnetic field suspending a liquid iron uranium tungsten alloy that shaped into armor-piercing projectiles when fired. The jet of molten metal, accelerated to a fraction of the speed of light, destroys targets by impact force and irresistible heat. Only 11 months after the battle, the Turians produced the Thanix, their own miniaturized version of Sovereign's gun. The Thanix can fire reliably every 15 seconds, rivaling a cruiser's firepower, but mountable on a fighter or frigate.
This is super cool. So they used basically Sovereign's technology to create a better weapon. That's awesome. Okay, moving on to weapons, armor, and equipment now.
Still in its experimental stages, the M622 Avalanche generates a Bose-Einstein condensate within a mass effect bubble, which dissipates on impact, violently spraying the condensate outward and coating the target in a near absolute zero superfluid. The Avalanche is unreliable, at times merely coating its target with ice, defacing exposed skin and freezing armor joints. Such low temperatures cause great damage to electronics like kinetic barrier emitters, which sometimes leads to total systems failure. At the other extreme, the Avalanche freezes flesh and bone, causing massive trauma as blood vessels constrict and frozen blood expands. Occasionally, such iced tissue shatters.
Okie dokie, this is one of the last prototypes that we got.
Based on existing technology, the ML-77 is a rapid-fire missile launcher using seeking projectiles. Each projectile features a friend or foe recognition system, ensuring it will find a hostile target even if the user's aim is not completely accurate. The weapon excels at taking out snipers and other entrenched enemies in dense urban environments. This makes it popular with mercenary groups, particularly the Blue Suns mercenary band. Missile launchers have been appearing with increasing frequency in the Terminus system, but their point of manufacture is unknown. Legal duplication of missile launchers is difficult due to Fabrication Rights Management, FRM, technology.
Cool. Okie dokie. So these are all the primary entries that we have gathered so far. So let's move on to the secondary entries, and we can see already that we have in the aliens non-council races, we have an entry. Drell and their biology. Let's see here. Drell are omnivorous reptile-like humanoids with an average lifespan of 85 galactic standard years. They give live birth to their young, who are capable of eating solid fruit from the moment they are born. Drell appearance is very similar to Asari and humans, but their muscle tissue is slightly denser than that of humans, giving them a wiry strength. Many of their more reptilian features are concealed, like a 3-chambered heart with a muscular ridge that is capable of shunting oxygenated and deoxygenated blood as needed. One unique characteristic, however, is the hyoid bone in their throats, which allows them to inflate their throats and produce vocal sounds outside of the human range. Would-be assassins have noted that these two features make Drell extremely hard to strangle or suffocate. Nice. Because the Drell ancestors emerged from arid rocky deserts, the humid ocean-covered Hanar homeworld of Kaje proved tolerable only when the Drell stayed inside a climate-controlled dome city. Due to this huge disparity in the two species' homeworld environments, the leading cause of death among Drells on Kaje is bacterial lung disease called Keprel's syndrome. This is the disease that Thane suffers from. Within a generation of the Drell's arrival on the planet, the disease had become resistant to Hanar antibiotics and other advanced treatments. Once an infection settles in, death is slow but imminent. Transplants may buy time, but as the infection spreads to other major organs, there comes a point of diminishing returns and eventual system failure. Okay. I'm sorry to see that there's no actual cure for this disease, but yeah. Okie dokie, so this was all in the aliens non-council races, so let's move on to planets and locations. The Migrant Fleet. The flotilla, or the migrant fleet, is a fleet of roughly 50,000 starships that houses over 17 million Quarians. The largest collection of starfaring vessels in the galaxy, the fleet is so large it may take days for all the ships to pass through a mass relay. The ships are constantly repaired, replaced, and upgraded to comfortably house as many Quarians as possible. Typically, ships specialize in roles for the fleet, from the enormous agricultural live ships to the shielded lab ships to the repurposed freighters known as home ships that house Quarian children, young parents, and educators. Employed Quarians typically live in the ship that they work on, since commuting from ship to ship ties up resources with unnecessary docking procedures. Even within the flotilla, Quarians on most ships will remain encased in their protective suits. Rarely Quarians will meet on clan ships for specific purposes such as medical services or reproduction. When this occurs, they remove their suits, knowing full well that it is likely they will spend a few days having allergic reactions or getting over infections as their weakened immune systems compensate for each other's presence. Oh my god. Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all. Okay, moving on to ships and vehicles. Okay, space combat pursuit tactics. Dependent on light, sensors cannot detect objects moving at faster than light speeds. No ship can be detected at interstellar ranges. Detection at interplanetary ranges suffers from light speed lag. Observers see ships not where they appear to be, but where they were when the light bearing their image left them, minutes, hours, or days before. To counteract light speed lag, battle fleets surround themselves with spheres of screening and scouting frigates. Pursuers cannot detect ships and directly intercept them. Instead, pursuers track where objects were, where they were heading, and at what speed they were moving. Such data reliably predicts an object's future location and for pursuit along its light-lagged wake. Ships trying to evade pursuit follow erratic zigzag courses, requiring pursuers to make stops to update their projections. Nice, that is super cool. What else do we have? Anything else? Nope, nothing else it seems. Okay. And last but not least, the veteran Zaid's secrets. Okay, let's see what this is all about. Mercenaries, Blue Sun's full history. Here we go. Founded in 2160 by the human mercenaries Zaid Massani and Vito Santiago, the Blue Suns were initially a Skillian Verge protection racket. As they expanded in numbers and influence, the two co-founders disagreed vehemently on many issues. I'm sorry, I'm butchering these words. Finally, after arguing about whether to recruit the slave trading battalions into their ranks, Vito ambushed Zaid and shot him in the head. Okay, this is the story that Zaid told us as well. Believing Zaid dead, Vito took full control of the Blue Suns and hired whatever battalions he pleased. Soon he had crowned one named Solem Dal Sera as titular head of operations. It was a move designed to placate his battalion investors and draw fire from would-be assassins. It worked on both counts, and the partnership has lasted to this day. Over the decades, the Suns grew into a fearsome combat force spinning dozens of planets in Citadel space, the Verge, and the Terminus systems. Knowing that a good logistical team is key to fielding an army, Vito diversified the Suns, selling arms, training, and supplies as often as taking contracts to crack skulls. Even when the Suns suffered heavy losses, Vito's entrepreneurial expertise ensured new recruits could replace the old. All that was lost was the truth. Today, only a handful of trusted mercs even know who Vito Santiago is, let alone his old partner, Zaid. Well, Vito Santiago is no more, so we don't have to worry about him now. I'm actually curious to see what happens to the Blue Suns now that they're... what happened to them once we killed Vito. Anyways, these are all the entries, guys, in the codex that we have so far. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed me reading through them, even though I kind of butchered all the words and everything. I'm sure we're gonna get some more entries once we do more missions and everything, and I know that we haven't even touched the assignments yet, so we really need to do that. Yeah, we'll do that in the next video. And thank you for following along here and for your continuous feedback and support. And as always, if you like this video, give a like. If you didn't or you don't like this video, give a dislike. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.